between that song and this new microphone, I really want to fight Andy.
You want to fight?
I want to fight.
Let's fight.
Woo! Welcome to another bone-chilling yet simultaneously heartwarming episode of the world-famous Urban Jungles Radio. I am your cute and fuzzy Beastmaster, and sitting across from me, stirring my hot chocolate in the manner that a good wingman should. Nah, you're not my chocolate maker. I'm sorry.
I've been reduced to hot chocolate.
No, I had no one to get my chocolate, and it's hard. It's hard to walk around the room with these shades on.
I know. It's hard to find good help these days.
It is another exciting episode of the Urban Jungles Radio Show up for your viewing this evening. Our first guest this evening is going to be stirring up quite a bit of controversy with his practice of self-immunization of snake venom. Many people feel that this is a dangerous practice. Some have even called it voodoo, while the fact remains that the effects of venom on the human body... Voodoo,
okay.
The effects of venom are poorly understood. So tonight, Steve Ludwin will be joining us from London to tell us all about his Host-esque penchant for injecting venom into his body. I'm just on a roll tonight, Andy.
Oh my God, you're such a wordsmith tonight.
I'm just smithing it all up today. So yeah, we have a good show lined up today. It's really exciting. We got a lot going on. Coming up soon after that, we are going to be welcoming back the fabulous Emma Locke to the show. That's right. She will be coming to us under her new title of International Correspondent for the Urban Jungles Radio Show. Tonight she'll school us on some interesting things about the RSPCA and their perception of exotic animal owners. It'll be an eye-opener for sure, especially for our UK listeners who, much like us here in the USA, face some opposition in keeping pets, which are often deemed exotics, especially, it seems. So you definitely are not going to want to miss this one, aside from the fact that we will be seeing Emma tonight, which is a special treat all its own.
That's Andy. Always a plus. That's always right, a plus.
Through the magic of the Urban Jungles Radio studios, we will have Emma here, Skyping with us shortly. So good stuff lined up for the night, Andy.
Good stuff. This will be our first official live Skype, huh?
Yeah, this is going to be our experiment with the video and see how it goes. I can't make any promises.
Fingers crossed.
We wait and so.
This is a heavy UK episode.
It is. It's definitely. We have a lot of people repping the UK today.
Yep.
And we got a lot going on for sure. So we'll definitely want to check that. And before it's all over tonight, we will be bestowing upon you, the Urban Jungles Jungle Junkie.
Oh, I thought you meant me.
No, not you, Andy, personally. Well, I got some stuff for you, too, which we'll talk about in a second. But first and foremost, I want to let everyone know that tonight we will be hearing a new Urban Jungles parody song. Yes. I know you guys have been waiting, and we will have the Macklemore and Lewis thrift shop.
I can't wait. I can't wait for this one, man. Since you told me about this Macklemore thrift shop song, that's all that's been playing in my iPod.
Isn't it a great song, man?
It's such a great song. I love the horns in the background, and the bass line is just tremendous.
See, I'm such a huge fan of songs that kind of play with you a little bit, like songs that have fun, but also are good and catchy. Like, I'm just a huge fan of that. And obviously, this is a song that's very tongue-in-cheek, talking about thrift shops, and I think they did a really good job with it. So it warrants an Urban Jungles Radio cover for sure. And we'll be changing it from the thrift shop naturally to the pet shop. I mean, that's what we have to do here at Urban Jungles Radio.
Of course, we gotta go to the pet shop.
All right, before we continue, we definitely need to thank everyone for watching the new shows. They seem to be going really well, Andy. They seem to be really popular.
Everyone is loving them. We are getting such positive feedback. Thank you very much, boys and girls. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. We've been getting great feedback from everyone on it, including some pretty flattering figures out there. It was nice to some people to say some good stuff out there. So please continue to give us your feedback.
Spread the word. Make sure everyone else knows about it too. You know, we definitely appreciate the live listeners in our chat room tonight and the live listeners on our live watchers, I should say, on our Ustream channel. But make sure you direct everyone also to our YouTube page. This stupid microphone. Make sure you direct everyone to our YouTube page, which is now Danny Mendez as opposed to Urban Jungles. Thank you, YouTube, and your horrible wordplay.
It's okay. It could be worse. Could have been Visacro. Nobody would find it.
Try spelling that
one. Yeah. So we love hearing from you guys. Please continue to give us your feedback for sure, and we'll continue to do what we do here at Urban Jungles Radio. And speaking of which, I need to take a minute to tell you guys about something that's really, really awesome. And every now and then, I'm floored by someone's act of kindness towards supporting us here at Urban Jungles Radio, which, you know, that kind of feedback is literally our lifeblood. It's what we love here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So today I got this really cool kind of an unsolicited package from really nice woman, Jill Worsham in Florida. And when I opened it up, I was just floored. I found a bag filled with these amazing little pin buttons. In fact, Jill had taken 4 of our logos and five of our logos. Sorry, that's right. 5 of our logos and turned them into these spectacular little buttons with an amazing amount of detail. I'm showing them to the camera so you guys could see this. And they're just really cool. I mean, she just totally hooked us up. Thank you so much. I'm really, really flattered that you took the time to make these and send those to us. We'll definitely be getting these out, you know, to the people. It means so much to us to receive gifts like this.
Especially surprise gifts,
yeah,
too,
especially
you know?
surprise gifts, and ones that can help us, you know, spread the message. We'll be telling you soon how you can get some buttons.
They're about 1 inch in diameter for the people in the chat room that can't see the buttons right now. I'll also be posting a picture up on our Facebook page as well, so everyone can see them.
Yeah, and they're super detailed. They're really nice. So thank you so much, Jill from Florida. They're awesome, and we'll make them go a long way. That was really, really, really nice. I dig that tremendously. And a quick reminder, next week we are off, and we're likely to return the following Saturday. And I got to check with you on dates, but I think we'll try to be back. We can't be back that following Friday, 2 weeks, February 1st, but we'll be back soon after that. So stay tuned. I'll give you more details. We've been updating the webpage, so make sure you head over there and register.
February 8th. February 8th we will return.
Okay, February 8th. And make sure you guys register and get all up to date on our website. It's really important. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to be writing some important blogs over the next couple of weeks, which you won't want to miss. And by registering on our site, you get instant notification of that kind of stuff. Plus, you know, all kinds of cool insider things. So you definitely will want to catch that. Andy, you got anything to go? Because we're going with all jets today.
No, man. Let's start our trip to jolly old England.
Let's do it, man. We got a hell of a show lined up for you. It's Urban Jungles Radio. That's how Urban Jungles Radio. Can you tell? Was there ever any question? Oh yeah, it's the Urban Jungles Radio, people. Come on. I'm gonna cut down on dancing this week, I promise.
Thank God. We haven't been getting a lot of positive feedback on that.
Oh, shut up! My dancing's awesome. I don't care. Don't complain. I'll do it more. A lot more. Damn it.
Then it'll be the whole show of you dancing. Dancing while broadcasting. That's some talent right there, my friend.
Damn straight. You tried broadcasting all the miserable topics we have to cover sometimes and look good doing it. It's not fun, you know. We talk about whaling, finning, all that good stuff, and we make you want to listen to it. And there's a reason behind that. It's my dancing. Admit it.
Is that what it is?
We're off topic. My next guest this evening, my first guest this evening, I should say, is a red-blooded American reptile lover living abroad in the UK. Only problem is his blood is more than red these days, as he's been injecting himself with snake venom for over 2 decades with fascinating results. Some people think of it as madness, while many, like myself, cannot ignore the fascinating possibilities of being a human venom lab. So please give a huge Jungle Junkie welcome to Mr. Steve Ludwin, who I hope is here. I think we might drop. Steve, is this you?
Hey, yes, Danny, it is me.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Hey, Steve, how are you?
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming to the show and joining us. You definitely have been making waves this last few weeks. You're the source of this great Vice documentary, which, by the way, I have to kind of thank you because watching your video has turned me on to this Vice channel, which I absolutely love. Their documentaries are really awesome. But,
Vice are a great company. That's why I went to them. They're kind of, you know, at the forefront of journalism, and you know, you're allowed to do whatever you want there. They're very creative, so I was happy with it.
Oh, totally pushing it. I absolutely love it. And they obviously covered you in this really cool documentary. And I know that the idea of self-immunization is you know, it's kind of not a new one. In fact, one of the highest profile herpers I can think of, and a close personal inspiration, Mr. Bill Haas, has been doing it, or had been doing it for decades. And he's actually accomplished.
Absolutely, yeah. He started in 1948, apparently.
That's great. He's accomplished some amazing things throughout his life directly as a result of this. So, I mean, have you had any indications of his superpowers yet?
Well, you saw me eating. You saw how many mice I can eat. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was gross.
Yeah, I have to say, eating. They were thawed fuzzy mice. They weren't alive, but still, I don't know if I could eat that, man.
And you know what? Out of everything that we've seen on the Vice channel, that was probably the worst thing I've seen.
And you know how those mice, come on, we're all reptile people. You know how they kind of smell when they're stewed, like in the warm water?
Yeah.
They
It's so appetizing.
Exactly like that. They taste exactly like that. But at least I put some. There was some, garments around on the plate. I had some basil to sort of tart it up. Anyway,
gotta add some rosemary.
All right, so let's get down to it. What exactly are some of the effects that you believe are the results of the immunizations?
Well, it's kind of a long story. I mean, like I kind of said in the documentary, or maybe I didn't. I mean, I met Bill Host when I was younger, and he always just left such an impression on me, and I was kind of really aware of like, wow, you can become immune to snake venom. How is that possible? And when I moved to London, that was kind of like my first job. I worked in a place called the Vivarium, and I started unpacking cobras and all this stuff. I was an illegal alien, and that's the only work I could get. But I sort of, I just decided that, okay, I'm going to, have a go at this. And, it was really just to see if it was possible. Like, could I become immune to it? And I think over 5 or 6 years, I started realizing, oh, yeah, obviously I could tell that my body was reacting different to the venom. But as the years went by, certainly in the last 10 years, I've kind of been more interested in keeping it up and sort of pushing it, but just really trying to see, what side effects were happening. I can only say, I don't want to encourage anybody to do it and stuff, but I've had pretty positive results. Apart from all the kind of horror stories I talked about, I've gotten cocky with it and had a few accidents. But other than that, my health has been really good, and a lot of people are saying it's impossible, but it was possible for Bill Host, so I'm carrying on with it.
And you're not the only one that's doing this still, right? There's a couple other people.
No, not
right?
at all. Like I did a documentary for Animal Planet back in 2009, and I started meeting people on the internet that were doing it. Notably, it was Ray Hunter and Norman Benoit. And I got to meet those guys, and it was just amazing to hear, that somebody else was doing it. I had no idea. There was no internet when I started, and there's no books on the subject or anything. So, to meet others that were doing it, it was pretty amazing to sort of, trade notes, etc.
All right, so walk me through the first time you did this. I mean, that's got to be a harrowing experience. I mean, we all go through that. Well, I we all don't go through it, thankfully. But I mean, myself, having worked with a lot of venomous animals, I've replayed that moment in my head over and over again. Like, when you get tagged and when you start to feel the venom and the whole, will you remember your training? Will you remember what you have to do? So just walk me through. First of all, what made you decide to do it? The moment you did it, would you just decide the moment? Okay, screw it. I'm just gonna get to it and grab the whole bottle of
it was I can kind of remember it. It was pretty scary. I mean, basically what I did, and now I'm learning a lot more about it, that, they're saying, anthropologists are saying that, the Egyptians were doing it over 2,000 years ago, and there's indigenous tribes, I believe in Burma and also in South America and Mexico that were using snake venom, but they obviously didn't have syringes. So what I did the first time, and it just felt really instinctual, was I just made, using like a snake bite kit, those cruddy sort of snake bite kits that have a scalpel in them, I would make like 2 little cat scratches on my arm, and then I was milking. I started with Asiatic, tree vipers. That was kind of my thing, and so I'd milk those snakes, and then I would just drop the venom into the cat scratch, so to speak, into my arm. And you could just kind of feel it instantly. It's kind of burning and stuff. That's how I started. It was kind of like a game of cat and mouse. I would sort of, but the first time I had no idea what was going to happen. I guess my heart was pounding, and I guess I kind of thought it could go wrong here, but it didn't. I mean, it just kind of, I had swelling and a little bit of green and yellow bruising for the next week or two. But
what venom did you use? What venom did you use the first time?
I would say like a white-lipped tree viper. It was one of those. It was a green tree viper. Was pretty much the first snake I used.
Yeah.
And then I kind of graduated from there. I started using copperheads and rattlesnakes and eyelash vipers. It's only been recently, like, that I've been working with, neurotoxins. So I think the Najacuthia, the monocled cobra, is really my first proper neurotoxin and stuff.
Sorry, I was gonna say you're actually milking your own snakes, like your pets.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yes.
Very nice. And what? So I mean, is it like a systematic thing? Are you going through different types of venoms, trying to gather any kind of data, or is it right now? Is it just throwing everything that'll stick?
I kind of, like I kind of explained in the Vice documentary, I'm not the most scientific of chaps. I mean, I do keep a record of when I do it, but as far as what mixtures I'm using, I kind of just, use one shot glass for all the hemotoxins, and I'll put rattlesnake, eyelash vipers, just kind of everything I have, and just a mixture, and I use that, and then when I'm using the Cobra, I, use that separately. But it's pretty much it.
But Steve, you inject yourself. I noticed in the documentary, you inject yourself at the same time with the hemotoxin cocktail and the neurotoxin. Like,
I did do that. Yeah, I did do that. We had a timing issue when we were doing the documentary.
Oh, so that's not something. That's not something.
We were going to do them on different days. We were going to do them on different days, and I was just like, just whatever. I'll just mix them both.
Okay. Now, did you feel any different effects from doing the two at once?
Is it like mixing liquor?
Yeah.
that says it all.
No, I didn't. To be honest, no. I didn't really notice anything sort of unusual. I didn't use that much of the hemotoxin that day. I was really concentrating on the cobra venom because a couple hours later we went and, they took me to a boxing sort of place and we just kind of messed around in there.
We noticed you called out Bear Grylls, which I got to applaud you for. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I went nuts. I mean, to be honest with you, I woke up the next day and I felt like a truck had hit me because I really think I took too much, for the documentary. But I kind of remember just freaking out, and they said, "Well, think of something that'll make you angry." And I just thought Bear Grylls, because I saw him recently on TV, eating snakes, picking a snake,
She's a total
snake
douchebag.
up and biting its head off. He didn't need to do that. No. You just sort of say, if you need protein. I mean, can you imagine David Attenborough or even Ray Mears doing that? They wouldn't. They'd say, if you need the protein, pick the snake up, bite its head off, or whatever. But he actually did it, and I just think, oh God,
No, we do not hide the fact here that Bear Grylls is a tremendous douchebag.
No, we despise him. We absolutely despise him, and again, I applaud you for that.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, no, he's a total douchebag. We've seen him do it time and time again, like whacking monitors against trees and all these unnecessary, reptiles, especially deaths, skunks. Like you don't need to do it. And then he goes and packs it up for a hotel at the end of the night, like whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. I sent a message to his agent in Los Angeles. I sent him a couple links to the show and some articles I'd done, and I said, "Can you hook up a fight?" And I'm really hoping. I just want him to see that. And everyone's saying he'll kick your ass. He was in the territorial army and stuff. But I don't care. I actually see it. I've been telling people I actually really want to do that as a documentary. I want to train.
If you do that,
tons of venom.
We will fly over.
Absolutely.
We will fly over just to do a live broadcast of you kicking the shit out of Bear Grylls. And if we see he goes too far and gets it, we'll jump up to a baseball bat.
I think it'd be amazing. I think I'd really like to try and knock his head clean off his fucking shoulders.
I like you, Steve. Good man.
You're a crazy dude, Steve, but we love you.
Yeah, seriously, man. Cause you got some tremendous balls, man, for what you're doing. I have to give it up to you. I mean, a lot of people think you're crazy. And, there are some people, we've heard some people really kind of saying that you shouldn't be doing this. It's dangerous. I mean, what do you have to say to some of the critics?
No, I know there's been a lot of criticism, and I kind of understand it. I think, a lot of my friends that are in the herp community who know me, they know that I'm, serious about it, and I've been doing it for so long, and I really do. In the bottom of my heart, I kind of think, okay, this is interesting, and I think it will have some merit, perhaps in the future. Like I said, I'd love to work with someone who is more scientific and who does have an education. But I see a lot of people sort of, doing criticism and saying this isn't science, et cetera, but I disagree. I think it is. It's just kind of home science at the moment.
The idea...
It's for me only, it's like I'm not I'm not, obviously hurting any animals, and I'm not pushing it on anyone else. So I kind of think, with everyone going nuts in America with gun rights and stuff, to me it's like, I kind of want to get a bumper sticker on my car that says they will have to pry the venom from my cold dead hand.
Warning, I have anti-venom in my blood. No, seriously, like, I mean, you're right. I mean, the idea is crazy, injecting yourself with something that technically is programmed and designed to destroy or break down proteins or whatever. But we're obviously discovering that's not true. We're discovering that snake venom is useful in a lot of ways. But more importantly, I mean, the selling point for me is Bill Haas, once again. And I greatly admire Bill Haas. Just like you, I got to see him as a kid. He was a big inspiration. Now, here's where the proof is in the pudding for me, is the fact that, I mean, obviously, he has actually saved the lives of people with his own blood. Yep. I mean, based on that alone, that is tremendous, and that shows that there are tremendous possibilities here when it comes to snake venom and, the human body and its interactions. I mean, you could seriously see one day a vaccine that, helps you overcome envenomation. I mean, have you actually ever been envenomated, like straight up from a snake?
I did. I was so sort of, I used to brag, like, I've never been bit, because I am really careful around snakes. I don't kiss cobras and shit like that.
You shake a lot, Steve.
I don't take chances. But about 4 years ago, I flew back. I was jet lagged back from Las Vegas, and I was kind of feeding some snakes, and I had an eyelash viper that was he had a little bit of bark in his mouth or something, and I went to sort of kind of rub it out with like some tongs and stuff, but my back hand just brushed its tail, and this thing just swung around like lightning and bit me bullseye, like on the pinky, like on the fingerprint of the pinky. And so that was my first bite, and it totally sucked. I mean, it was, I never ever, have you been bitten by a venomous snake?
No, I'm not.
Nope.
I swear to God, I thought I was good with pain and everything, but this eyelash viper, as I said, I mean, it was like 8 hours. As I said in the documentary, it felt like somebody took a sledgehammer and smashed it onto my finger. But the pain never went away for 8 hours. It never went down, and my finger was just gnarly, and you couldn't move it. And I was calling Ray Hunter, a.k.a. Cobra Man in the States, and he's like, get yourself to the hospital. And I was like, nope, I can't do that. I didn't want to go and embarrass myself there. So I just waited it out because I was quite confident. I was like, okay, hold on a second. I work with this venom, and even Ray had always said, look, it's not going to, doing self-immunization is not going to stop the effects and the pain of snake venom, but you'll survive it. And sure enough, 8 hours later, it just kind of started going down a little bit, and I knew I was fine. But it was the worst pain. Wow. I actually remember just thinking, because imagine that for 8 hours, it just stays at that one level.
And eyelash vipers are one of those snakes that people always tell you, like, oh yeah, their bites aren't so bad. I've actually been to the show, the Hamburg show, and I heard somebody selling eyelash vipers who described it as a bee sting. I'm like, what? Like, so I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people don't realize even an eyelash viper has a good punch. And I mean, here's you.
Oh shit!
You have a leg up on the situation, and it's still screwing you up.
That's a proper Central American snake. Their venom is designed to drop, hummingbirds that they bite and stuff like that. I think it's a pretty serious venom. People think the same about copperhead venom, but
right.
There's extreme sort of pain, and you can get necrosis. And didn't somebody die last year in the States?
Yeah. Yep.
Central American women, Central American snakes, they're all dangerous. You got to be careful. Never take them for granted. So, like, does this work? I mean, does this work for you? Like as far as like picking up chicks, are you like, yeah, I'm venomous? Is that a selling point?
Did you really just say that?
Not yet.
You got to work it, man. You got to work it.
I've lost a girlfriend because of it,
in the long run, probably better.
You didn't need her, Steve.
You have to find the reptile woman. You have to find a reptile woman out there, who will be there milking snakes with you. You have to find your Nancy Haast.
Nice.
I think I already have. I'm dating an Australian girl for the last 2 years. She's an Aussie girl. She's a banker. She's an evil shape-shifting banker, but I love her. But she, like, living in my house is crazy. Like, she says, honey, can you milk the snakes? Because she likes to put it in her moisturizing cream, because we read a lot about that, and you know, there's an anti-aging cream that has snake venom in it. So we just thought, hey, just get it from the source. And so, living in my house is pretty crazy. That's kind of like I get nagged to milk snakes so she can stay young.
Recycling, snake milking, so many duties. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. You got somebody to support you. It's also good to have somebody to find the body if anything happens. But no, seriously.
Yeah, that's true. I had an email off Nancy Haast a couple weeks ago, thanking me for because we were kind of really promoting her husband, and she's a wonderful lady, and I think she's going to devote the rest of her life to really getting his story out there. I mean, all the criticism that I've got from, some of the scientific community or the herpetologists, at the very least, all I would say to defend myself is I'm just trying to get the story out there, especially Bill Haast's story, because it's pretty amazing. The public aren't aware of that stuff, The public aren't aware that it's possible, to become immune to snake venom. They don't know about antivenom, about horses, and they don't know really about Bill and the fact that, he has saved people's lives. He saved more people's lives than Jesus has in the last 100 years,
And Bill Haast lived over 100 years old, right? 101, I think?
Yeah, he was just a couple weeks shy of 101, yeah.
How long do you want to live, Steve?
And sorry?
How long do you want to live? How long do you think you're going to go? I think you'll push 100, man.
I don't know.
You look like a 12-year-old now.
I don't know. Sometimes when I turn on the TV and I see the sort of music that's being, pushed out on people, I just want to die.
Skrillex, kill me now. Ah.
10 milliliters just once.
No.
No.
I saw your Ween t-shirt,
got another single.
Yeah, props to the Ween t-shirt, man.
We saw the Ween t-shirt.
Yeah, I was really happy to wear a Ween t-shirt. I love Ween. I've always loved Ween. I supported them once in London, and it was awesome. And then afterwards, they came up to me and they're like, "Hey, do you want to come to a party?" And it was right near my house in London.
Nice. You got to party with Ween. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, I gave them some magic mushrooms, and it was just the best night.
So if Nicki Minaj offers to come over, would you purposely have a steak biter for all of us?
Oh man, that's almost like murder. You can't say that.
Nobody's listening. It's okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, there's a lot of swelling involved with snake venom, so I don't know. Maybe she should, booty up a little bit more.
Down a lot.
Yeah, good Lord. No, that's awesome, Steve. I mean, what you're doing, I think, is really groundbreaking stuff. It's crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't do it myself just because I don't think I have your balls.
Yeah, it's really, it appears crazy, but it doesn't seem it to me. It's just like normality. But
how long have you been doing it now?
20 years, you said?
Oh, God, I mean, I started, well over 20 years, probably like 22 years or something. It's really been in the last 10 years I've kind of upped it. When I started, to be honest, I did it probably like every 4 months or something, and I didn't really know what I was doing. But then probably, 15 years ago, I started doing it every 2 months. And then now I'm kind of, every 2 weeks sort of thing, especially since I've been doing documentaries and stuff. I kind of always think I'm like a long-distance runner, and I need to take more and more and more. But I'm beginning, I think, to slow down again.
Yeah, slow down, man. We need you around for a while.
Yeah, in documentary, you were talking to a couple of those boxer dudes, and they had made the suggestion of you, like, quitting for a while. I
think I'm going to do that. I might do that soon. I'm just really scared that I'm going to be like David Bowie in the film The Hunger.
Oh my God. Oh, dude. No, I don't even know what to say to that, Steve. That's pretty awesome, dude. I love what you're doing. I love how you're putting it out there. What you're doing is definitely interesting. Keep up the great work. Just please be careful. We don't. I mean, have you like kind of ever gotten to the point where you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done this much?
Absolutely, yeah. It's funny. Like I've had the funniest stuff happen to me. Honestly, I'm not making light of it, but yeah, just
mushrooms with Ween.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, and a big, huge goiter coming out of your calf where you had to suck the nucleus out. Yeah, that's funny.
That that was kind of funny. That wasn't funny. That sucked.
It's not funny.
What was funny though? Can I tell you something? You want an exclusive? Oh, I never thought I'd.
All right,
okay,
it's coming out now. Come on.
So, like, I had been really getting into copperhead venom, and I was really studying it. And I went to the University of Southern California and met this professor there that's working with it, and I just became obsessed with copperhead venom. The compound in copperhead venom that's called contortrostatin. Is that the right pronunciation?
Yes, contortrostatin.
And it's actually in the Latin name of the snake, and I was just intrigued. So I started thinking, okay, in the future, I had this idea that there's going to be these, like maybe monthly injections that women can have that contain this compound. You get them injected into your breasts, and it inhibits cancer cells, but it also causes swelling. So I kind of thought, I actually called up Ray Hunter, and I asked him, I told him about something. I had an idea, and because when I work with copperhead venom, it creates such extreme sort of swelling. Like I'll put it into my forearm, and my forearm will swell up like Popeye's arms. I mean, it looks unreal. It's like cartoonish.
Crazy.
And so basically I had this idea, okay, well, I'm going to try something here. And I thought about, there's not much elasticity in your forearm. So I had two girlfriends come over, and we basically had like a slumber party. We were going to watch horror movies and stuff. But they
So that's Andy applauding you.
They basically dressed me up as a girl, and then they injected. This one girlfriend of mine, she injected right underneath my nipples. She injected copperhead venom, like under each nipple. And I swear to God, it was like the funny. I mean, it hurt so much.
I don't want this. I don't want this exclusive story anymore. This turned really bad, really fast.
It's so funny what happened, because I knew exactly what was going to happen. And basically, about an hour later, they sort of peeled down this little dress that I was wearing for them, and I had like 19-year-old girl's breasts. Like the swelling was insane. Like I had breasts,
Did they get you a training bra, Steve? What the hell, man?
Yeah, they said I was like, I can't remember, like a 36 at AA. Or I can't remember. But the thing is, it was like they were touching them and stuff, and they were giggling, and I was like, oh God, it hurts so much. But about 4 hours later, we were sat down, we were watching The Evil Dead 2, and I was on the couch, and I was like, God, I can't really breathe. And they kept on saying, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I was having difficulty breathing, and I forgot to sort of think, and I was like, oh my God, you idiot! Of course it's swelling outwards, but you didn't think that it was going to be swelling inwards as well, and something was happening, like to my lungs. It was pushing down, and my breathing was getting really, it was hard to breathe and stuff. And I had this moment of like, and they said, should we take you to the hospital? And I was like, I can't go to the fucking hospital and tell them what I've done.
Not in a dress, for crying out loud. Put my pants on.
Huh?
What could possibly go wrong in a dress with breasts complaining about copperhead bites?
Exactly. What did you do to yourself, sir? Well, I injected myself. I injected my tits, So, yeah, I've got lots of funny sort of anecdotes.
Yeah, okay.
Two girls, one venom cup. There we go.
And the next day, like, I woke up and it was like felt like I'd been kicked by a mule, and I've got photos of these green and yellow and sort of brown sort of bruises that drip all the way down my stomach. It was pretty gnarly. I won't be doing that again, but it was a good idea, and I think I had a pretty good idea. I think in the future, perhaps if there is a compound in that venom, and there can be monthly injections that will prevent breast cancer, but will enlarge your girlfriend's breasts, for 24 hours. It's a win-win for everyone.
And really painful too. I mean, in all seriousness, though, Steve, like after that experience, were the girls interested in doing it to themselves to see what it feels like, or has anyone ever asked you to do it to them? Any of your friends?
Oh God, I get asked that all the time. Like especially now, since I have emails every day from people saying, they're not doing chemotherapy, they're dying of cancer, and can I help them and stuff. It's scary. I get lots and lots of people asking about it, and I in no way want to encourage it, because I know that it's,
good.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, there's no way I would help anyone with it.
Tremendous story, Steve. You've shut me up, man. Let me tell you that's a lot. That's quite an accomplishment.
That's a feat right there.
Yeah, I don't really know what more I could say by that.
I'll send you the photos.
Yeah, please do. We'll definitely get your nipple shots up here on Urban Jungles Radio. Steve, it was an absolute pleasure, man. I really enjoyed your chat. Good luck with your project. Please come back sometime soon.
Thank you very much. Are you speaking to Emma Locke this evening?
Yeah, we're going to be speaking to Emma in a bit. I'm sorry. I know you were going to wanted to talk to Charlie. Charlie Bond, unfortunately, wasn't able to join us this week because of some internet problems, but she's going to join us next week. So maybe you should come back sometime soon, and you could definitely.
Oh, no worries. I'll listen out for her. Yeah,
absolutely.
Cool.
And Emma Locke.
Emma Locke is amazing. She's
awesome.
Really smart
Listen,
girl.
I meant to tell you, dude. I'd be really careful because she has disclosed some plans to me about stealing your monocle cobra. I'm just saying, you didn't hear it from me, but just be careful because she's a little shady. Her and that Michael. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much for having me on. And,
all right, brother.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, man, be safe and keep up the great work and keep us updated on how it goes.
Thanks.
All right, man.
Thanks,
be
Steve.
good.
Take care, bud.
Bye-bye.
Steve Ludwin, everybody. That was quite the interview from Steve Ludwin. I didn't expect to hear stories quite of that caliber, but definitely interesting stuff that he's doing there.
Yeah, exclusive stories here on Urban Jungles Radio.
Like yes.
Wow.
Yeah, but anyway, obviously an interesting field. We don't recommend you try it.
No.
But interesting nonetheless. I'm going to have to follow up. I want to follow up with some of our American counterparts who are doing that. Norman and I think Cobra Man Ray Hunter would be some interesting people to talk to.
Yeah, that'd be cool to get their perspective.
Yeah,
on it.
I definitely want to follow up on this. It was an interesting topic, so we will. But yeah, good interview, Steve. All right, let's just move it all along now.
Can we get Emma on the phone? Please?
Yeah, let's get Emma going. Our next guest this evening is obviously she's no stranger to the Urban Jungles Radio family. Emma Locke has been a guest a few times along with her boyfriend Michael. They run an educational wildlife program in the UK. And you may, of course, recognize the talented actress in various films, included the disturbingly splendid Human Centipede 2.
Full sequence.
Full sequence, that's right. Emma's an amazing advocate for animals, and in efforts to help spread awareness on various issues affecting anything from wildlife to our pets and so much more tonight, we're honored to have Emma join us for the first time via Skype as an official Urban Jungles Radio correspondent. It's going to be a series of editorials which will be coming every month, and I don't know, it's a great thing, I think. So without further ado, I'm going to get Emma Locke up and going.
Centipede.
Here on the show with us to make this a frequent thing, right?
I am indeed. Thank you very much for having me. And I do apologize for the very pasty appearance. I haven't been very well recently, and also I think I might sound a bit masculine. So I'm armed with my tissues, so I'll be able to hang on for the duration.
Awesome. No, you don't look pasty. You look great. You sound great. Please, no, and thank you for joining us. I know you've been sick. I know you're working around the clock, doing all kinds of cool animal stuff over there. So we won't keep you, but we need to talk about something that's going on over there, obviously, that you want to bring to our attention today regarding the RSPCA specifically. I think we need to just start off by letting people here in the U.S. know what exactly the RSPCA is, because we don't know.
Okay, well, the RSPCA is the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. They are the biggest animal charity, and they're known worldwide. There's branches, I'm sure, everywhere. And basically, the main thing that this charity looks to do is to sort of maintain a general good well-being with the animals kept as domestic pets, such as dogs and cats, rehoming animals that have been abandoned, fundraising funding to be able to send off to other charities as well. So they are a good charity overall, but they have come under scrutiny very recently, and it's pretty massive in the UK at the moment.
So what exactly is the issue? I mean, some of the whispers I've gotten is that basically they have a certain stance that's not favorable, especially when it comes to the treatment of exotic animals in the UK.
That's pretty much what is going on over here. The general feeling is that a lot of the money that the public, who put millions, I mean a lot of money towards this charity, the general feeling is that it goes towards the dogs and the cats, and in that respect they do seem to do a great job. I mean, the figures speak for themselves. They do a great job in rehoming. Some animals do get put down, but a lot of people do realize there's just not enough funds to go around. However, their stance on exotics, a lot of people in sort of the hobby feel that it's very unfair. I believe it's 18 out of the 25 trustees of the RSPCA are part of sort of like animal liberation fronts, which are very tough on their stances against exotics being kept as pets. And it's a very touchy subject over here. They've seemingly, and according to other reptile keepers, been clamping down unfairly and more prosecuting than preventing cruelty. So, for example, rather than explaining to people who don't know very well how to look after their bearded dragon, instead of saying, well, you can do this, this, and this, they will just prosecute. And that is what people are finding exceptionally unfair. And it's not just exotics, it stretches to domestic animals as well. I believe they spent this is the RSPCA, they spent approximately £8.7 million last year on lawsuits to prosecute. Now that's roughly $12.5 million US. That's a lot of money.
Wow. Yes.
A lot of money, and that's been on prosecutions. And unfortunately, a lot of these prosecutions have been on not sort of big time animal smugglers or repeat offenders. It's dear little Gertrude down the road who is suffering from the credit crunch and feeds her cat every other day rather than every day. And someone goes and reports, and the RSPCA will come along and sort of say, well, we're going to take you to court, and this is animal cruelty, and it has to stop. So rather than saying, okay, we can help you, would you like us to rehome your cat, something like that, they'll just go ahead and prosecute, and that's really upset people around here at the moment. In fact, there was one case in December where £330,000 was spent to prosecute some people in a fox hunt. Now, the reason why that upset people so much is because there was a program on TV called The Horse Whisperer, and if you follow me on Facebook, you might see that I wrote something about it. It was very upsetting because the RSPCA, for this particular man who looks after wild horses, they're not his, he takes them in. We've got a lot of travellers, which are a sort of travelling community that's set up, and they have horses. It's a very old traditional way of living. They sort of let them free, and he collects them, and he had far too many. Now this poor man, he made £100, I believe, a week. £100 a week, which is not much to live by, and £87 went to the horses.
Wow.
Now, it's a lot. You can't live off of, £20-something pounds a month. Oh, my math is terrible. We'll overlook that. But yes, regardless, the money that he was making, it was pretty much all going to the horses. He really had so much love for them. And somebody noticed that not all the horses had covers. They didn't all have, the fleshiest of statures, and so they reported to the RSPCA. Now the RSPCA, as we know, have made a lot of money, and they went to go and have a look at the horses, and they didn't take into consideration the fact this guy lives in pretty much a building site. He hasn't got a bath or a shower, he has no kitchen, nothing. All the money goes to the horses, and yet rather than say, here's £200 to vaccinate the horses, which would have covered every single one, because there was a vet's agreement there as well, they took away 3 of his horses and took him to court to prosecute, and a lot of people believe that wasn't very fair. Now, it's a sensitive subject for me. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing the RSPCA too much, because they do, as I said, do do really good work. And I used to work for them. I learned a lot from working with the RSPCA. They have a branch which is the SPCA, just the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals in Hong Kong. And they taught me a lot about snakes and rehabilitating dogs, cats, a lot of different exotics. I learned so much, and they're a great branch. So over here, to hear them being sort of bashed by a lot of people it's frightening for me, because I know that there's very much the anti-reptile folk, the anti-exotic folk within the RSPCA,
right.
But there's also the very anti-RSPCA, anti any sort of governing body about animals in their direction as well. So it's very much a tug of war. And it fires up in both directions. But I really do feel that the amount of money and the amount of prosecutions has shot up dramatically in the last couple of years. And I think it has to stop, personally. It's got to the point now where especially reptile and amphibian and exotic folk feel that they're being targeted. There's these pledges which the RSPCA have, and so pledge one is to make sure that all domestic animals are rehomed. Another pledge is to pledge that they will put down fewer animals and promote the well-being. But there's one actually that I've written down over here. I've actually got my laptop in front of me. It's not that obvious. I'll do it over here. The pledge is number 5. It's very specific. We pledge to reduce the number of exotic animals kept as pets and increase their humane care. The beginning part worries me.
That is worrisome.
Very, very worrisome.
Now, are there any organizations that are helping or I should say representing the pet owners or the exotic pet owners more specifically?
There's more forums. There are one or two. The names do escape me because I get tongue-tied with how you pronounce them. But there are a lot of responsible people who want to promote sort of the well-being. But unfortunately, with the rise in exotics popularity, there are people who will keep exotics badly, and it's not. I'll say it's down to lack of research. Young people especially, will go into shops and see these snakes for sale or parakeets and say, oh yeah, sure, I'll get one of those. They look pretty cool. And they just don't learn, they don't get taught how to look after them. And they end up being the ones who end up becoming prosecuted. So personally, I think rather than spending the money on so many prosecutions, maybe the RSPCA should be using the money to educate possibly their officers in exotics, because I know a lot of people who have been investigated by the RSPCA, and they go out to every call. You call them about someone now, they'll go out and investigate. That's their policy. It's what they do, and it's a good one because they catch a lot of pretty nasty sort of puppy mill reoffenders that way. So it is good, but they will go out, and a lot of the time the general consensus is that the RSPCA just don't have the knowledge, the officers, to distinguish what is what and what is acceptable in the reptile hobby and what is not acceptable. In fact, I got investigated 4 years ago because I had a neighbor live here who was adamant that my royal python was a cobra. Ring, 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 ring. There's somebody living next to me with a cobra. So they pushed over, and to their credit, they were very nice, the officers that came over. And they were really, really nice, and I let them in. A lot of people don't let them in because they say you've got no power to be here, which is true. Unless they have a warranty, they don't have the power to enforce themselves to come in. But I thought, no, I've got nothing to hide, so they can come in. And they had a look at the blood python, and they had a look at the royal python. And the poor people, they were just scratching their head, like looking at each other like, well, what is it? I just felt really bad, and I was like, look, this is care sheets, you can read up on them, and this is a blood python. It doesn't suck blood, one actually asked. And it was just a little bit awkward, and they left, and I never heard from them again. They were just like, yeah, it's not a cobra. They did ask. I said no, it's not a cobra.
You know, that's even a problem that plagues us here in the U.S. with our fish and wildlife. A lot of times they cannot identify, especially in the case of advanced hobbyists, they are not always capable of identifying the animals themselves, and you know there is a little bit of a disconnect. Now, I know you said there are some people sitting on the RSPCA board that are obviously not in favor of exotics. How often does that change up? I mean, is the board elected, or does it ebb and flow? I mean, I don't know how it works.
It doesn't seem to change that often. Honest. I know that people would like that to change, certain people I won't mention, but it doesn't seem to change that much. I will say this, it's very political. If you Google it, you'll see just how political it is. I have to watch my own neck here and just say, I can't go exactly into the details, but if you look up people in charge of the RSPCA and read up about them, you can find a couple of things which are very interesting that make you think, should these people be up near the top, or are they waiting to go on to something bigger and better, and do they honestly have animal welfare or their welfare?
The political air is thick around the world when it comes to pets, isn't it? It's crazy.
Oh, yes, it is. And especially around this pledge, it's got a lot of exotic keepers very worried. I do wonder if in the US you have the same feeling with charities, or I know that I watched something called Animal Cops Houston. It's kind of the same thing,
right?
Except it's the RSPCA over here, and I wonder if they ever have been seen to be cracking down on exotics.
I think overall everybody's cracking down on exotics, and here in the U.S. it doesn't necessarily fall under the auspices of the ASPCA, which is our equivalent, or anything like that. It falls under local law enforcement a lot of times. And that's horrible, because these are usually people that have no training whatsoever in animal identification, and they'll usually call in the local fish and wildlife service, and they'll work in conjunction with each other. And once again, a lot of times it's very common these people are not prepared for what the exotic hobbyists have, and it is usually not in the favor of the hobbyist if they don't know what you're having, what you're keeping. They'll usually assume it to be worst case or something venomous, and Lord forbid the media gets hold of it and then just jumps all over the place. So there is the increase. We here in the U.S. are facing a huge increase in legislation on every level, from the state level all the way to the federal government. And I think social media, media's incredibly insatiable appetite for sensationalism and general, sometimes, like I said, with the increase in popularity, you unfortunately have people who do not care for the animals correctly, and this is what makes the news. This is what always gets people attention. For every 10 people that are keeping their animals perfectly, there's always going to be one who's not, and that is the one person who's going to get the attention, unfortunately. So here in the U.S., there's definitely this air of increasing, intolerance towards reptiles, and we have this whole political organization issue going on here with our lobbyist groups, as I'm sure you've heard too. So we're kind of in a weird place right now, because we have this time when we're being scrutinized, and there's really no one to defend us, and there's kind of no unification in that sense, which I'm kind of sensing is what you guys have too, especially if you're depending more on international. There are plenty of dedicated hobbyists in the UK. There are some spectacular hobbyists and breeders in the UK. And this is something that obviously anybody keeping these reptiles should be severely concerned about, and should also, probably be, you can catch more flies with honey, proverbially. Maybe be more open to working with the RSPCA about education and maybe assisting them when it comes to identifying rare things. If some herpetological society can maybe step in and provide some professional, opinions. I think there's some definite, options there. Not being familiar, of course, with how the RSPCA is run, but it definitely raises questions. And I think you bring you make a really important point in showing that we're all kind of sitting in the same boat around the world, whether it's the US or the UK. We're all, as reptile lovers, under the scope right now.
Of course, and there's definitely a feeling of almost scapegoatism. If you think about the amount of cruelty cases against people who keep cats, dogs, hamsters, rabbits, guinea pigs, those all sort of slip under the bar. People want to hear in the news about things that are more interesting, more exotic.
Yes.
So if someone is prosecuted for overbreeding a Burmese python, someone's breeding pythons. You know, a lot of people don't understand that snakes are not dangerous in the right hands, and the RSPCA have seemingly been cashing on that for their own publicity, not realizing just how much damage it is doing to the sort of exotic community. But that said, I would jump at the chance to encourage people to work with the RSPCA. They are such a big organization which was started for all the right reasons. Obviously, in a big organization such as the RSPCA, will always get people who flex their muscles a little bit too much and think, oh yeah, I'm going to go into work today and I'm going to prosecute a few people. But you get those in the police force, you get them everywhere, in the office. You always get Mr. Big Head, Mrs. Big Head. And I think a very important thing is to remember that there is enough backstabbing that goes on in our hobby as it is. I've got quite a few hobbies, and none of them are as unforgiving as exotics. You go into any forum. I mean, Steve Ludwin as well, he knows this. Any forum, and people will be saying, you shouldn't be doing that. What is your humidity? I wouldn't be keeping that like that. Just saying. Work together. Everybody's in this for the love of these animals. They're not like this with dogs. Horse folk, my goodness, horse folk are not even as bad as the sort of exotic people as well. It's
and those
like,
horse folk are crazy. I know them.
Yeah, they are crazy. They're crazy. Yeah,
a good crazy. We like crazy.
Very, very funny. And oh yes, just going back to the RSPCA again and reptiles. I actually have a friend who I was speaking to a couple of weeks ago when I was doing my initial research. And what's interesting is she's just got a job at the RSPCA, and she's a big reptile enthusiast. She breeds reptiles, she will sell reptiles, and that is almost seemingly what the RSPCA don't want us to be doing right now. And she gave me this little statement, which I'll read out to you, which I think sums up a nice feeling within the RSPCA's good folk. I'll just call her Jo. She says, I think the main thing that the RSPCA contests with when it comes to keeping exotics is the trade in wild-caught animals. I must admit I'm rather opposed to this myself and feel there should be more across-the-board investment in the breeding and trade of captive-bred specimens. Other than that, we're just looking to promote good husbandry and good knowledge of reptiles and other exotics rather than outlaw them altogether.
Very, very profound and very true. And that's a statement I'm in complete agreement with. We've discussed it many times on the show, how we need to have more focus on captive breeding, and we need to start policing ourselves, not give ammunition to people who are against what we do. For instance, with royal pythons, I mean, everybody breeds them. There's no more reasons for them to be exported or imported at this stage from the wild. Of course, between breeders is a different story. So these are definitely some of the things that we need to look at, as hobbyists as a whole, and consider. Sometimes it might not be a bad idea to clean up your backyard before somebody else is forced, called to do so.
Yeah, so I can completely understand that the RSPCA has their job to do, but I think they need to take into consideration just how much on the surface they're spending, where they are spending it, and how they could put it to better use. Because ultimately, they do a good job. They really do. I don't agree with everything. I don't agree with the politics, but they do a good job. And they do a good job in, dare I say, policing, looking after what people are doing with their animals. I think they need to bring it back to where it originally started, in helping people, the prevention of cruelty to animals, not prosecuting people who are just cruel to animals. A lot of the cruelty cases, as I said before, they're minor. Little old lady down the road who forgets to feed her cat every now and then. We all forget to feed our animals every now and then, especially if you're a little old lady who doesn't have much money and you're already getting forgetful and your heating bills have gone up. So rather than prosecute, I think there should be more towards, again, preventing the cruelty and helping people.
education is key, and thank you, Emma, for educating us about this, because obviously here in the U.S., it's something we're not familiar with, and it's also kind of in a weird way comforting to know that we're not alone in this. Emma?
No, it's big. It's big over here as well, and I really sincerely hope that we all band together and not throw stones at each other. I don't like what you're saying. No, I don't like what you're saying. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. Work together. We're all animal lovers at the end of the day, and we're on the same planet, and we're all here for the same goal. So let's work together and stop firing at each other.
Words of wisdom from the great Emma Locke. Emma, thank you so much.
No, you're more than welcome. Thank you all for having me. I do apologize for the
No,
for
don't be
this.
silly. We look forward to hearing from you next month, right?
Hey.
Absolutely, and another amazing topic. And no, thank you very much. This is great, and we look forward to it then.
Thank you so much, Danny. I'll speak to you soon.
All right.
Centipede.
There you go. The amazing Emma Locke, people.
She's awesome.
Yeah, what do you have to say? It's pretty amazing, Emma. With her first Urban Jungles Radio editorial. Give it up for Jungle Junkies! Woo! Yeah, really good point from Emma. It's funny, a lot of people don't realize that just like here in the U.S., other people are also dealing with similar problems from lack of communication, education, pressure from extremists who think that we shouldn't be allowed to keep pets responsibly. It's a global issue, and there's no cohesion. So it's a similar problem all the way around the world.
And it's constantly where everyone thinks that they know better than the next person, which is, just a problem with, being human, I guess.
One of the many problems with being human, Andy. One of the many problems. But spectacular first editorial from Emma Locke. Emma, thank you so much for joining us
Emma.
here on Urban Jungles Radio and letting us know what is
Tell Michael
going
to turn
down.
the smoothie machine off next time.
Michael, come on, Michael. Stop vacuuming during the middle of the interview, for crying out loud. Oh, God. Good stuff from Michael and Emma. So let me just take one quick second, and we'll come right back with the end of the show. Wrap up. Oh, we got that good song for you. Hold on. All right, I know you have been waiting patiently, my Jungle Junkies. You want this. I know you want this, and it's okay because Urban Jungles Radio here is giving it to you. I'm talking about the cover of the thrift shop, a.k.a. the pet shop. Andrew, you ready for this?
I think so, man. I think so.
You ready, Andy? You sure?
Let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jungle Junkies around the world, I would like to present to you the pet shop.
UJR Urban Jungles Radio. This contains mature language and pure awesomeness. Urban Jungles. Listen while you pump some tags. Urban Jungles gonna rock it. I'm forecasting like a beastmaster. This is freaking awesome. Walk up in the show, I'm like, what up, I got a big crock. Nah, I'm just pumped about some shit up at the pet shop. Ectothermic and so damn frosty. The people like, damn, that's a cold ass honky. Rolling in hella deep, heading to the mezzanine. Draping UJR gear, monitors, these are green. Everybody's looking up, my aviators on the scene. Probably shouldn't buy that Seiko, though it doesn't look too mean. Hiss. But shit, it was only 99 bucks. Pop it in quarantine, come out cleaner than Listerine. Passing up on water moccasins, Andy's just walking in. Looking for something cool while walking around the shop. Got Trevo and tarantulas, sexing produce succulents. Now I want a crocodile, yeah, I want a crocodile. No, really, call Tom Crutchfield, I want a Cuban now. Brachydactylus, I love giant geckos. I want some venomous, but forget those. I found a short-tail possum, I bought some short-tail possums. They hang out in my pocket and of course they're freaking awesome. Hello, hello, my wingman is mellow. Conservation warriors ain't backing down, hell no. Showed up at the roundup, almost arrested by some popo. Zombie chief knew right away, you're Urban Jungles Radio. Nice. This is where you pop some tags. urban jungle's gonna rock it. I'm broadcasting like a beastmaster. This is freaking awesome. Listen while you pop some tanks. Urban jungle's gonna rock it. I'm broadcasting like a beastmaster. This is freaking awesome.
What you know about finning, the end is just beginning. All the while humans just keep on sinning. I'm digging, researching these topics aren't funny. Like rattlesnakes, roundups, all they care about is money. Thanking junkies for listening and making a big difference. Don't mind fighting rednecks from deliverance, especially possibly if it makes a difference. I'm the beast master, broadcasting a ruckus. Your grandma, your auntie, your mama, your mammy. Your stories about pythons in Miami,
but you won't buy it like other suckers. Newspapers lie to sell to other suckers. I hit the pet shop and they stop in the motherfuckers. They be like, oh, that banana ball, it's so tight. I'm like 15K for a ball python. Really? No more importation, do some simple addition. Get something better than a ball and just breed it. I call that getting tricked by a business. Get it, you're not starting up a business. That thing is hella though, but paying lots of money for a ball python is definitely a hella dope. People sings, come take a look through my telescope. Rock UJR, cause we know that you're hella dope. Yeah, you're hella dope. Hella dope. Let's go, one more time. Listen while you pop some tanks. Urban jungle's gonna rock it. I'm broadcasting like a beastmaster. This is freaking awesome. I wear urban jungle's clothes. I look incredible. I'm in these big ass shades with a snake hook that's custom made. I wear urban jungle's clothes. I look incredible. I'm in these big ass shades with a snake hook that's custom made. Listen as you pop some tanks. Urban jungle's gonna rock it. I'm broadcasting like a beastmaster. This is freaking awesome.
Can you beat it? Can you possibly beat it? I don't think so. It's the Urban Jungles Radio bringing you the Pet Shop, and you love it. You absolutely do.
I love it. That was a great rendition, man. The original song is phenomenal. This one, I think, just brings us to the next level.
Thank you. We try here at Urban Jungles, bringing you nothing but the best in entertainment all the way around. Hot topics, good music, everything. What can I tell you? It's the Urban Jungles Radio Show.
I love this show, man. UK hotness with both Steven and Emma.
Can't beat that.
Steven was a phenomenal guest.
Steven was awesome, man. I totally bit off more than chew with him, but he's awesome.
The Vice interview only gave us like a smidgen of what he really was like. Oh, really, Evan? You think so? And, Emma is just Emma, just being sheer awesomeness.
Yeah, Emma's always awesome. What can you expect? That's why she's part of the Urban Jungles Radio crew, Andy. It's pure awesomeness. Andy, hello show, brother.
It has been a hell of a show, man.
It's the show. It's the Urban Jungles Radio
show. It is the show. It is the show like none other.
Unmistakably world famous, award winning, just pure awesomeness all the way around. It's Urban Jungles
Radio. And
Radio.
You love us. You love us.
How can you not love us? How can you not love what Urban Jungles is all the way about? I mean, just every aspect of it is just freaking awesome. This is freaking awesome.
You know, we have a lot of fun doing the show. But at the same time, we're covering a lot of serious topics, and we don't ever want people to forget that.
Never, because we have fun at Urban Jungles Radio, but the bottom line is we're very serious about what we do, and we're going to do it, and we're going to do it better than anybody else. And on that note, Andy, I think it's time for us to go.
I think so, man. I think so.
I want to thank our Jungle Junkies for listening. I want to thank the amazing Emma Locke and, of course, our man Steve Ludwin. Thank you very much for making it a spectacular Urban Jungles episode. Make sure you check us out on the YouTube. We will be broadcasting this show all over YouTube soon, so make sure you check out our channel, register on our page. Andy, you rock, brother.
Thanks, man. So do you.
Thank you, man. Let's go with another song.
All right.
I'm in the mood. Let's go Black and Yellow for all my...
Black and yellow friends?
Black and yellow friends.
Racist.
Friday is the night, 10 p.m. is the time. If you like reptiles, get your ass online. White Plains to Chicago, UJR on the grind. Scale from 1 to 10, this show is a dime. With the fan base growing, no intentions on slowing. With guests that'll blow your mind, let's just call it mind blowing. From hot sneaks to slam, Mendez is the man. The deadliest in his field, let's call him the top pan. Knowledge is power with more calls than a cell tower. Once the show starts, turn your volume up louder. #1 radio station, aka the Snake Nation. Breeding Cali Kings like it's Californication. Entrepreneur host that was raised in the ghetto now has snakes that are green and black and yellow. Music written by Chris Perillo back for the third time, performing his third rhyme. Thanks to all the fans and God bless yous. Awesome husbandry, kids are my niece and nephews. You don't like the show? Have it your way. I'll end this shit, well fuck you and have a nice day.
Yeah, you know what it is. Everything we do, you know we do it big. Listen to the show and you know everything. You don't have to admit it, but you love when I sing. Black and yellow, kill a fellow, way too mellow. My wingman's got my back, looks like candy, red and black. Venom like, still spitting on this track. My brain's brewing, interviewing, never know what we're doing. Keep it fresh from the best, spitting on the next song. Interviews is what we do, laying info down on you. I know you're liking what we do, Urban Jungles loves you too. Beastmaster is down with you. You know what it is, Urban Jungles does it big. Listen to the show and you'll know everything. You won't admit it, but you love it when I sing. Another Urban Jungles Radio production.